When it comes to accessibility, there is no one-size-fits-all solution, and often it comes down to an ad hoc or workaround. All of the guidelines and recommendations that I've made so far are really just those guidelines and recommendations. In instances where you have unique or unorthodox elements, you may need to come up with some more creative solutions. This is a web-based piece that I put together a couple years ago, and there were some parts of it that I just could not make accessible. This piece, for instance, was so much text formatted so specifically that there was no way to actually type into the web page and make it accessible text. What I had to do instead was export a JPEG of all these words, and that's kind of an accessibility no-no. Given that there was no way to do it in a traditional method, what I did instead was add an accessibility page to the website that this is hosted on. On this page, users can come and download an accessible PDF file that has all the same content, but not formatted in quite such a visually specific way. That way, people using screen readers have access to the content, and I don't have to necessarily sacrifice the visual elements that were so important to my piece. If you're going to include an alternate format, my recommendation would be a Word document. People seem to think that Word docs are less secure or not as easily formatted as PDFs. And 99% of the time, that's just not the case. People can edit PDFs very easily, and Word has a number of formatting options that I might go over in a later video. I would avoid PDFs as they are really hard to format and even harder to make accessible. In another exhibition, I had visitors walk through a cabin that I built inside a gallery. This is obviously a very physical, very visual experience. And I wanted to include an audio track so that if visitors came who were blind or visually impaired, they would at least have some information and some context for what was surrounding them as they walked through. What I did was purchase a small MP3 player and include a walkthrough audio track that basically did just that, a brief description of each element as you walk through the piece. Again, the goal wasn't to replace the visual elements, but just to describe and provide context so that they understood what was going on around them. Your accessibility solutions will probably look a little bit different than mine. Again, there is no one-size-fits-all solution, but it's all about making an effort and ensuring that the presentation of your work is inclusive of as many people as possible.